a witness because it's not just about details that you harvest from a dictionary entry. It's about conveying a personal experience, an encounter that has fundamentally changed us. This reminds me of the story of St. Francis, the 12th century founder of the Franciscans. Those are the guys in the brown robes, and a key figure in the history of the church. Francis began life from a place of wealth and power. He was the son of a wealthy fabrics merchant, one who lived in excess and prosperity, and he could easily have continued that the rest of his life, simply inheriting his father's businesses and continuing them on. But from a young age, Francis was troubled. He began to see a disconnect between the finery and luxury of his life and the state of the poor. He began to wander, a meandering pilgrimage of wrestling with purpose, until finally his life was changed by a vision. He saw a vision of Christ who appeared to him and said, "Francis, Francis, go and repair my church, which, as you can see, is falling into ruins." Convicted, changed by this vision, he finally renounced the wealth of his father and began a life of ever-increasing transformation. He began to live simply, to minister to the poor, to seek the peace of Christ, even in the midst of the raging wars of the Fifth Crusade. And he even created friction with the institutional church of his day. What he saw, who he saw, changed him. And in the course of his discipleship, he grew into that vision of Christ, becoming more and more like the one that he had seen. Now, Francis's vision wasn't just something he saw and then told others about. To be honest, that wouldn't mean a whole lot. But Francis was transformed by what he had seen, and his life became the telling. We should definitely hear echoes of Paul here. As much as Paul wrote and spoke and preached, it all rested on his story. The transformed life that arose from seeing Jesus, truly seeing him, and never being the same. For every word that Paul wrote, it ultimately comes back to that story. That there was once a man of anger and prejudice and pride, and he met the risen Savior on a road and was never the same again. And in this new life, people saw this Savior, and they too were changed, until it spread like wildfire across all the world and down through the ages. People who saw and were changed. So this